So guys, like I said, this is not a one and done video. We are going to do a little bit of testing on this, the cheapest knife I've ever sharpened on the channel, cheapest knife I've ever owned. It's this Chip Away Hunter. And we're gonna talk about what we're gonna do right after you guys look at this logo. So what we're gonna do is I've got a bunch of cardboard. We're gonna cut up a bunch of cardboard and we're gonna see how long this edge holds. Now, you guys know I am not a fan of cut tests for saying anything scientific, but I can definitely determine whether this edge is going to hold for me because different types of cardboard, different types of materials, things like that are definitely going to be different. You can't tell me that every piece of corrugated cardboard is the same. So cardboard cut test, rope cut test, they're not scientifically duplicatable. So I really don't like to speak to them as that, but I can absolutely use it as a tool to see if the edge is something that's going to hold up for me. So like I said, I've got a bunch of cardboard. It's currently like 93 degrees. I don't know whether we're going to do it in here or outside, but we're definitely going to do it. So garage door's open because it's effing hot today. So yeah, let's go ahead. I'll get this set up. I'll figure out if I'm going to do it out in the sun or if I'm going to do it in here, probably in here. So yeah, let's cut to me cutting. All right, so we're gonna do it in here. I didn't set up any lights or anything. I'm simply just gonna cut this. I don't know, I may speed it up. There is gonna be some background audio because I have a fan on because it is really hot today. So I have been stockpiling a little bit of cardboard for this purpose. So let's just get started. So we're just gonna cut some standard cardboard here, take it out of its crappy sheath. So I do have to say it's comfortable in hand. So as far as cut testing, how that's gonna play out, it's comfortable. I just don't know how well it's going to cut. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. I forgot a couple pieces in here. It's a very comfortable knife in hand. Man, I wish they had used better materials. It's not feeling like it's losing much of its edge, but we'll see how far it makes it. I've had high-end knives though that did poorly, so I'm curious to see how well this is going to hold up. So it's corrugated cardboard, double wall. There is areas of adhesive and tape. We'll see how many of these boxes we go through. I got different kinds of cardboard too, because I have some shipping boxes from customers and things like that. Yeah, these commercial packaging ones that have all this printing and ink on the side, those are actually harder to cut a lot of times than some of that thick corrugated cardboard. And I think it has to do with the ink and stuff that's on it. And it's pretty compressed. So it's it's still double wall corrugated, but it's a lot tighter knit. This thing's doing really well, actually. I may have to eat some crow on this. I didn't think it was going to hold up. Now, a lot of it could just be the fact it is very thin, but it still feels like it's cutting relatively well. Well, we're down to the actual box. This is the box that Winston Cabretti sent me all my birthday presents in. He sent me so much coffee. A couple of the other guys sent me coffee from another company as well. I'm gonna have to pause here in a minute though, because we filled my container. We may have just reached the point where the edge kind of gave up. Let's see. No, I think there's just adhesive all over it. So give me a second here. Unknown steel, unknown heat treat, and it's doing better than some other knives we've had on the channel. I am actually really surprised by this. I got cardboard everywhere. Oh, none of this is actually going into my receptacle that I had intended to cut cardboard into. It's all on the floor. All right, I gotta empty my container and then we'll come back and cut down the rest of the box. Give me just a second. So since we're a little bit more than halfway, I thought we'd do an edge test on some newspaper and see how well this edge has held up. Because I'm not going to even try to hide the fact that I'm fairly surprised by this. Look at that. I've had other knives that were much more expensive that did not hold up. It felt so soft when I was sharpening it, and it lost its edge back and forth. It does not feel, it's a little bit less sharp than it was, but surprisingly, it has held up better than a lot of much more expensive knives that I've had. I have shown you guys that. Now I'm doing a little quick, there's a couple spots that feel kind of gritty and feel as though they might be trying to go bad, but I may have to eat crow on this one and say we may have gotten a unicorn. May have come across a unicorn here. You guys might have picked a winner I hate tape. I hate packing tape. The adhesive that's in packing tape gets stuck on knife edges and will give you a false indication of that knife getting dull. Let's go ahead and, wow. My wife is currently cutting the dog's hair because it's so hot. Guys, I'm really surprised by what we're seeing right now. This thing is just screaming through this stuff, no problem. From any angle, whether I'm going with the direction of the corrugation, so I'm cutting the least amount of material across it diagonally, or straight across it, it's still cutting it, and it's cutting it well. Guys, this is the last piece. This knife is hot. Like, just the friction of cutting on that card, it's perceptibly hot. And I don't feel that the edge has given it. It's cutting as good as it did on the first pass. So, guys, I'm really surprised. So let's turn this around and we're gonna take a look at it a little bit more. So where are we at with this? A little surprising. This knife has held up better than some other knives I've had on the channel, some more expensive knives, and it was very comfortable to cut with. I do have to say, I think in all honesty and just to disclose everything, I believe we may have gotten a unicorn. I don't think all of these knives will do as well as this one did because they are too cheap for there to be any type of quality control. But just a final couple tests. It's trying to cut newspaper. It'll grab it and cut it, but it's not, I mean, you gotta catch it just right. It's still cutting newspaper though. After all that cardboard, and I've had much more expensive knives that did not do that. So, do I think a lot of that has to do with the edge geometry and blade geometry? Yes, and I enhanced that by putting a really good edge on it. And the other thing at play is when you feel this edge, it no longer feels smooth. It feels very gritty, microchipped, and things like that. And so what I think is happening is that this knife is just heat treated good enough that you can sharpen it, but still poor enough that that material is just kind of giving up and chipping away. So it's either too hard, or it could just be that it's too hard, because the fact is it feels very gritty. So it feels almost serrated. So that's what I think is happening. But surprise, surprise, it performed way better than I thought. I have some other tests I'm gonna run on it. We're not gonna do them like immediately. We're gonna kind of play around with this knife and see what I can get out of this knife. I have some wood cutting tests that I wanna do. I have some chopping tests that I'm gonna do, and some other things that we're gonna do. And we're gonna see how it holds up. So guys, surprise, surprise, surprise to me. You know how people are like, surprise, surprise, surprise to no one. Surprise, surprise. I'm looking at a lot of cardboard laying around and it did a really good job. I'm very surprised. So guys, that's it. See you in the next one. Not gonna do the whole spiel. If you want to support the channel, you know the ways. Affiliate links, like, share, subscribe, all those things. If it's your birthday, happy birthday. I'll see you in the next one. I'm kind of surprised.